Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to film a request for you guys and it's for a deep black smoky eye. Now, if you have hooded and downturned eyes, a smoky eye can be really great because any sort of matte black shadow can sort of push back the area of concern, which is the hood. The only thing that can get in your way, potentially, is the downturn of your eye, so we really need to work on turning the shape upwards. If you've got uneven eyes, this is going to be a tricky one, and you'll find that is the same with me today. I'll be going in step by step, little by little, just because my eyes are so uneven, but I will take you through the steps, and hopefully by the end of it, you'll be able to get a great look out of it. So I found that for mapping out my shape, the best thing to use is a sort of gel pencil. So I'm using this one from NYX. It's in the shade Gunmetal, and I'm actually going to start in the inner corner of my eye right here. Now, when you see the camera's tilted sort of slightly down so that you get more of a view of my eye, but I'm going to be looking directly straight ahead into my mirror, and this is very important. I'm just going to start drawing a little bit of a line just over where my crease is to kind of give me an idea of the shape. So when I'm straight ahead, I need to see this line just poking out above my natural hood. Now, what's really important is if you have, it depends on where your hood is, but my hood starts from sort of right in the middle of my eye. So a dip tends to happen there. That isn't the prettiest sort of shape. So as you're moving, just tilt your head slightly back and give yourself more of a round look across the eye. So hopefully you can see as I'm turning around, the shape is just on the outside of my wing. Now, because this is gel pencil, they set really, really quickly. So you're gonna wanna go in and just smudge it, just to make sure that it's blended out already, because they set really, really quick. And when they do set, they're there for a long time because they are waterproof. Going back now to add a little bit more depth. Now, one thing that I think people find quite difficult when they're doing a sort of smoky eye or eyeshadow look in general is when we get to this corner here, especially if we're looking at downturned eyes. My hood passes further on the top lid here than the outside corner of my eye. So that tends to take things quite far down, especially when I'm looking straight ahead. So to kind of tackle that, what I do is I stop going along the top from now and I just start filling in along the very edge of the outside corner of my eye. I go all the way to the very end, just like that. So that kind of extends the shape of my eye, and I go to the furthest point that my hood reaches. So you see right here, I am going to give that a soft blend as well. This doesn't have to be neat. Actually, this whole sort of outside corner is going to be filled in later, so you don't really have to worry about it, but I just like it to look a little bit more even for now. And then the next step, again, looking completely straight ahead into the mirror, you're just going to sort of join these two shapes in the outside corner. So you've got a little V. You do want it to end in sort of a little point, and just keep turning, you see, to the side to make sure that the shape looks good. So you can see it's ending in this point here. There's a lot of sort of moving your head around, a lot of chopping and changing, but it's really, really important that you establish this shape first and get your blend in. I think a lot of people who don't have hooded or downturned eyes can just sort of go in with a brush, whack on a load of colour, and you don't have to worry about it. But if you do have the hood like me and the downturned shape, you really, really need to be careful from the get-go. From here, I like to do the bottom, so you can go in under the eye just as much as you'd like. I'm leaving the inner waterline. I mean, it's going on a little bit, but mostly leaving the inner waterline because I prefer to go with a really dark smoky black in there. And again, give yourself the little blend. And just keep turning from side to side so you can see the full shape. Now, hopefully you can see as I'm looking ahead, I have not exaggerated this down, sort of this downward angle of my eye too much. If you are worried that it's looking even a little bit too much downturned, Just follow that bottom line and keep flicking up gently, blending whatever product you've already got, but just keep going very, very gently and turn this side up. Just that slightest bit more. And obviously you can go in with a Q-tip or anything just to sort of clean that shape. But that sort of upward angle is going to be really, really important for you. The next step is just to fill in this outer corner. Although this pencil does have a bit of shimmer, we're going to be going over with a matte eyeshadow later. And the sort of darkness and the depth is going to almost completely detract from your hood. So it takes away the appearance of you even having one in the first place. Okay, so once you've done all that, you've ended up with this sort of shape, which is very, very heavy. Yes, I know, which is quite terrifying for someone with hooded eyes, because obviously we do normally have a lot of heaviness. But this sort of shape has really helped to sink back the eye, but still draw it up. And even if you look down like this, you can see that the line is still going up. Now my hood obviously goes much further and it's almost to the end of this black area here, but because we've taken it and swept it out from the bottom as well, we still managed to keep the shape. Now if all that wasn't tricky enough, now is when we're going to go in with the deep black matte shadow. I'm mainly going to be focusing it on the very, very outside V here. We've already got our perfect shape, so you don't have to worry at all about your placement. Just don't go any further than that top line. In fact, try and keep the shadow just below it so that when you go to blend, you're not going to take it too far up. Just use a very sort of pointed, soft brush and whisk that slowly in. Now, you could decide to fill in this whole area here, which many people do, but I just find that that makes my eye look too heavy. I often like to put sort of like a shimmery shadow here to help bring brightness back to the eye. But I'm just gently kissing this black shadow over the pencil. The pencil's pretty much set, so you could wear it on its own, but I just think that the texture looks nicer if you have a bit of shadow over the top as well. Just really make sure that this outer corner is dusky black. Now it's completely up to you what you want to use to sort of blend out this line. I think because I've been very, very careful and gentle that I don't need to do a huge amount of blending, but I will just take a little bit of my skin tone powder. This one's a Rimmel Stay Matte powder, and just gently whisper along these edges. It almost acts as like a smoothing tool. A lot of people like to use a transition color, but because I want to maintain this really deep smoky black, I don't really want to add any sort of warm shadow. You know, a lot of people use a sort of taupey shade, but I don't want to add any other colors in. I want to keep it this sort of dark gunmetal-y black. And to give this a really sort of like grungy, cool, fun twist, I'm going to be popping this eyeshadow from NARS. It's called Antares, and it's like a glitter topper, and it's in sort of like this lovely silver tone. And I'm going to be adding that into that little space that I've kept free. Now those shadows apply the best with your fingers, but I've got big sort of man fingers, so I'm just going to go in with a brush and just slightly get into the areas that I couldn't quite reach on my own. And as you can see, that just provides such a lovely little pop of something shimmery, brings light back to the eyes so it doesn't all look too heavy. Take your blending brush again, just make sure that there's no start and no end to these shadows. I'm just going in now with a matte black liner. This one's a gel pencil. Again, I think it's from NYX. Oh no, this one's from Rimmel. It's a Scandaleyes waterproof kohl. If you have small eyes, this isn't always the best idea, but I think with a black sort of dark smoky eye, I just think it looks really, really impactful. I do have quite small eyes, but because we've kept some really nice sort of shimmer on the inner corner there, I think you can get away with it. At this point, it's mascara time. Give your lashes a big curl. Most people's lashes aren't quite long enough to stand up to this sort of heavy amount of makeup. So I've actually gone in with Ardell Demi Whispies. I cut off the very end and used the shorter end just to go on the outside of my eye. Now, in most circumstances, I would never recommend a sort of flared lash that gets longer towards the outside for someone with hooded or downturned eyes, because it often really then follows that curvature of the eye and then emphasizes the droop. But in this instance, because we've completely gotten rid of that with this sort of matte color in the outside, and we've got that really drawn out shape, I think you can get away with it. So for me, this look absolutely has to be paired with a nice big nude lip and just like a little bit on the cheeks. I don't think you need a super huge amount of makeup for the rest of your face, obviously, because the eyes are so intense. On the lip, I'm wearing Iconic Nude Lip+Cheek from Charlotte Tilbury to sort of give myself a little bit of extra fullness and shape, followed by Lipstick Queen in Butterscotch Dream. It's a really interesting texture. It's a lip mousse, so it's got that sort of pillowy matte formula. Sort of quite velvety on the lip, but then because I'm quite dry still, my lips have just been achingly dry, I popped a little bit of the gel lip and cheek colour from Nudestix over the top, and this one is in Haven. I think a little bit of gloss just gives it that sort of more easy wearing feel. And that's really the end of today's tutorial. Hopefully you found that really useful. I think for a lot of people, as I mentioned before, with sort of almond eyes or more open eyes, you can probably do this much quicker and in fewer steps. But I do think taking that time to go in bit by bit, using a pencil to map out the shape, and then really sort of adding in the powder over top and doing that sort of bit by bit will help you a lot with your placement. Hopefully these tips will do the trick, and adding in that little bit of shine will help you sort of keep brightness in your eyes. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I love responding to your comments down in the comments box. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully I will see you again next time. Bye guys.